INPERS. Are you ready? Believe it or not, as of last week, only 20% of local units of government had actually tested in the new system. I hope you're all part of that 20%. Believe it or not, only 70% had actually submitted a bank account to the state of Indiana, or to INPERS. They're going to be pulling money out. If they don't have a bank account to pull money out of, they aren't going to be able to pull your money. You are not going to be able to send them a check. You are not going to be able to wire them funds. They are going to pull money out of your account on a bi-weekly basis, or as often as you do payroll. I would assume for most of you it's bi-weekly. They will be doing that, and it starts next week. They go live October 29th. It's real time, and it's really here. If you are not ready, I'm not convinced they are, but if you're not ready, I didn't say that. Yeah, I did. Yeah, I did. I've told them that. If you're not ready, make sure you become ready quickly. October 29th, the system goes live. They will begin pulling money out of your account, and from there going forward, that money will be real time deposited into your employees' accounts instead of on a quarterly basis. They will be receiving credit for their dollars as they receive their payroll. So your employees will know if you're not ready as well, because they'll be told that they can view their deposits into their account on a weekly basis, and if it's not there, they'll know that you're not submitting the information to them in a timely manner. So please do so if you have not done so already. If you are not a part of that 20% who has tested, make sure you get in the system before October 29th and kind of look around, see if it works, see if you can make those changes. Pam, you can get in the test environment. Well, now you can't. You're right. This week, you can't. You're right. You're right. They shut down this week. Thank you, Pam. They did shut down everything this week. If you didn't, it's too late. You're right. I forgot what week we're in. October seems to be going by so quickly. It's hard to believe that it is almost Halloween next week. So you're right, Pam. Thanks for correcting me, as always. One of the things I want to talk about, because today, or this is National Save for Retirement Week, is something that I've talked about a lot this year. Because unfortunately, in too many cases, we are all not taking adequate steps to be able to meet and reach our retirement goals. I want to congratulate and thank a treasurer who's in the room today, who is going to be auditor next year, who serves on the state's Deferred Compensation Investment Committee, Martha Lake from Howard County. Martha is one of the at-large members of the Deferred Compensation Investment Committee. The committee is made up of myself, the treasurer, the governor, and two at-large members, one of each political party. And Martha does a great job on your behalf representing you on that. And I just want to thank Martha for her efforts. Unfortunately, I have very poor planning. I'm leaving here today as soon as I get, well, probably around noon, to go down to southern Indiana, where for the next 2 days, we are going to have two of our retirement dinners. Last week, we had Jean Shatsky. Many of you may see Jean on the Today Show. She's been the finance editor for the Today Show for the last, I couldn't believe when she said 18 years last week. We're doing a dinner tonight in Henryville and one tomorrow I choose based on who has the best food. We're at Henryville at Wooded Glen tonight. And then tomorrow night, we're at the Log-In in Gibson County. It doesn't quite go with my new vegan diet, but oh well, I guess I can break that for a couple of days. So we're going to have retirement education dinners there. Next week, it's not too late. If you're in northern Indiana and would be interested in registering for our dinner on Tuesday evening in Valparaiso at the Strongbow, or on Thursday evening in Fort Wayne at the Landmark Center, we certainly would welcome your attendance and to be there. We'll be going over some of the options available and investments available within Hoosier Start, Indiana's 457 Deferred Compensation Plan. Many of you offer that currently. Some of you do not, but many of you do offer that plan to your employees. And then we're going to see the videotape of Jean Chatzky's presentation that she gave 2 weeks ago here in Indianapolis before about 700 individuals who came to that dinner. So we're looking forward to the next couple of weeks, reaching out for further education on retirement savings. And because this is National Save for Retirement Week, it's a great time to look and evaluate. How am I going to get to, but also get through retirement? Am I saving enough? I think I've told this story before, but when I started work as first in the city of Fort Wayne and then as Allen County Treasurer, I was pretty young. I was pretty stupid. I said, I don't need to save anything for retirement. I got PERF. I got Social Security. I got expenses now. If I had only begun saving then, it wouldn't be so difficult now as I look at what I have to do to make up, or how many extra years I'm going to have to work in order to be able to reach my retirement goals. I've talked in May when we were down south about some of the situations of plans that some counties have offered. I'm pleased to report that upon further review, Grant County looked at the change that they made and then said, we didn't think this through quite right. And we're going to move forward with a new 457 plan. When they evaluated the true numbers, they then came back and said, we don't want to go forward with that other 457 plan. We realized that I guess we got the best deal around, and they reinitiated a contract with Hoosier Start. 2 weeks ago, I learned of another county, interestingly, not far from Grant, that went out and chose 2 new 457 plans off the market, never looked at the fees, never looked at the costs, and said, well, we didn't know what to look at, but these are 2 nice guys in our community, and we thought we'd offer their plan. 2 nice guys in our community. That may be great. They may be really nice individuals. But they may not have the best option. And if you don't evaluate the fees and the costs, you don't know that you're doing the best job for your employees. This is a message that, quite frankly, is probably more directed towards our county commissioners, and I'm going to give it to the county commissioners in a few weeks at the County Commissioners Conference. But basically, I also encourage you as the county auditor, the fiscal representative of the county, to make input, provide input to your commissioners. You have fiduciary obligations in many cases because you're administrating these plans on behalf of your employees. You're withdrawing money out of their accounts. So please look out for your employees' best interests and stand up and say, hey, I'm okay with offering multiple plans, but let's make sure we're offering the best plans to our employees, because paying additional fees that are unnecessary is not going to assist our employees in getting to and through their retirement. And then let's join together and work with our employees. Like I said, when I was first county treasurer, I was blind to thinking that I don't really need a supplemental retirement plan. And had I been a better spokesperson as the treasurer of the county on behalf of what my employees' needs were, maybe some of our employees would have been better served as well. And so let's work together to reach out, to help educate, to help communicate about the necessary evils of what PERF and Social Security will cover and what it won't. I may have mentioned this in May. The average individual who's retiring with PERF and Social Security will replace about 60% of their income at retirement. The average person needs between 85 and 95% of money to be replaced at retirement. And quite frankly, in the early years, it's even higher. Why? Because most people are walking into retirement with debt, whether it's credit card debt, mortgage debt, car loan. Many people think, I'm healthy, I want to go visit my family, the kids, the grandkids. I want to go travel. And all of those things cost money. And blindly, a lot of people say, I'm just going to go work. I'm going to be a greeter at Walmart. I love greeting the taxpayers at the desk. I'd be awesome at Walmart. That's great if our health is good. But unfortunately, 2/3 of all individuals who believe that they are going to work into their retirement years can't, because either they become ill, a spouse becomes ill, or another family member becomes ill and they have to take care of them. So don't be counting on those types of revenues or that type of income. If you're able to, great, that's the gravy. But let's not be counting upon that as our base. Part of what Hoosier Start does provide is, some of what I believe are the benefits that we provide is, we have a third-party consultant that reviews the investments. They make recommendations, they review the performance, they analyze the performance, they make suggestions for changes within our investment lineup. We meet at least quarterly to review the performance of our investment managers, the costs and expenses of those managers, to ensure that we're getting the best deal for the taxpayers that are for the participants who are a part of this plan. We monitor those options. We have an investment committee that reviews all of that with the help of Capital Cities, who is our investment consultant, a local Indiana firm that does just that. And in addition to that, we have nearly $900 million of assets that we can utilize to gain economies of scale. We can put out onto the marketplace and say, these are all the assets we can give you. Now, you as the Mr. Investment Manager, give us the most competitive price. If you're offering a plan within your own community and within your own county, you don't have that clout to be able to say, give me the best pricing. Those are some of the advantages that I believe that we can provide, and some of the advantages of reducing costs, because every dollar that's paid in costs and fees is a dollar that doesn't reach an individual's retirement income. It's another dollar that requires us all to work another year longer or day longer before we retire, because those are additional fees that are being paid. So I encourage you to step up and to assist us in working there. I've been giving you over the last few years some updates on where our finances are statewide. And in Indiana, I'm proud to say that we closed the fiscal year in July with the largest reserve balance in the state's history. $2.156 billion in reserve balances. Today, though, we don't have the largest reserve balance in the state's history. And why? That's because $720 million of that has been transferred. $360 million has been transferred to our retirement accounts to fund to help build up the funds for police and fire, judges, prosecutors, and teachers' retirement accounts across the state, to build them up and make them even stronger than they were before. And then another $360 million has been transferred into an account that is waiting for next January for each of you to file your individual income tax return. Because you will begin your Indiana income tax next year as you complete that with a credit. If you file individually, you'll begin with a credit of approximately $120. We'll know the exact dollar amount hopefully here in the next week or two. If you file jointly, it'll be about $240 that you will start your Indiana income tax return with. And the reason the governor passed this and worked so hard to pass this was he truly believed that if cash sat in a bank account for the state of Indiana, that money would quickly be gone because everyone would find a way to spend those dollars. And then all of a sudden we would elevate the base budget for the state, and we would have to continue to have exponential growth in revenues to be able to meet that growth in that new base budget every year. So as a result, our 2-point of legislation that passed the General Assembly under IC 41022, as it states today, all reserves in excess of 10% of the base 2012 budget are evenly split between the Indiana pension funds and Hoosier taxpayers. That changes a little, though, going forward. That base amount then becomes 12.5% instead of 10%. That was one of the changes that the legislature made this last year. You know, they passed it 2 years ago, thinking there's no way we're ever going to get to 10% reserve balance, so we don't have to worry about this. And then all of a sudden, the next year, we got to 10% reserve balance plus. And they said, oops, well, maybe we want to have a little bit more cash on hand instead of 10%. And so they increased the amount to about 12.5%, or to 12.5%. Even with that and the expectations that we have for fiscal year 2013, we believe that there will be a small refund coming back to taxpayers again in 2014, and a small transfer to each of the retirement funds as well following fiscal year 2013. And that's because for 23 of the last 27 months, we have continued to see positive revenue growth over prior year. And we're now beginning to see, into the third year, positive revenue growth over the same months in each of the prior years. For example, in July of 2010, we had 8.8% increase over July of 2009. In July of 11, we had 10.3% over 10. And in July of this year, we had 10% growth over 11. So we're now beginning to see where we've had 3 years of growth, year-over-year growth in revenue in the state of Indiana. While unemployment is still higher than we would like, we are beginning to see that incomes are returning. Those who are working are earning more, and those incomes are returning to where they were previously. But even with this, we are just barely over revenue for fiscal year 2012 compared to fiscal year 2008. We are only 1.9% over revenues in 12 from where we were in 8. And that does not account for the changes in cost of living. So while we're seeing exponential growth in revenues, it also shows how deeply our revenues dropped from 2008 to 2010. The most dramatic drop in Indiana's history in revenue. But also at the same time, we are seeing that recovery. We now have eclipsed where we were in 2008. And believe it or not, for the first quarter of this fiscal year, July through September, we are continuing to see that growth, and we've already seen 5.2% growth in fiscal year 2013 over fiscal year 2012. Now, while we're seeing 5.2% growth, the expectations of growth and the revenue projections of growth for the state of Indiana over that first quarter were 4.5%. So we are still just under 1% over what we were expected to be. So we're meeting expectations, we're meeting budget, but it was expected to grow by a large amount in fiscal year 2013. And it has continued to, and we will continue to see large increases in expectations of growth throughout the rest of the fiscal year. So the demands will be pretty tight in whether we will be able to continue to meet those revenue growth projections going forward. Certainly the news of the stock market the last couple of days will probably put some pause in businesses as to what their future plans are for their hiring decisions as a result if that October surprise continues. And when I say the October surprise, that is the dramatic drop in the stock market that we've seen over the last 3 days. I thank you for being here. Angie asked earlier, why are you here? And I think the reason you're here is because you care. You care because you want to serve your citizens to the best of your skill and ability, so help you God. And I congratulate you. I thank you for being here and for sharing that desire. There are times, though, as Angie said, that sometimes we get a little tired, we get a little burnt out, we have a rough day, and we begin questioning just why did I run for this office, or why do I continue to work in government? And I believe that it's the satisfaction that we get in serving our taxpayers, in providing a government that they can be proud of, in providing a willingness to respond to their desires and their needs and their concerns, to be there to assist them when they walk into the office or when you see them in the grocery store or at church or at the restaurant and they come up and say, can you explain to me what's going on and what's the budget impact going to have on my property tax bill next year? Or what's that pink form I got? I think I sent it in, but I read something that I'm not sure if I did that 3 years ago. It's the satisfaction of being able to assist them and know that you're making a difference, whether they realize it or not, through the quality of life in the community that you serve. I think that is why we do this. I think that is why we're here. And I think that's why you're here this week. Yeah, you're here to have fun. Yeah, you're here to network with each other and to share stories and frustrations. But you're also here to learn and to learn through that sharing about how you can continue to serve even better into the future. And yeah, I know I always have left a conference, whether it's my state auditor conferences or whether it was when I was county treasurer, a little bit more energized, a little bit more invigorated, a little bit more engaged in the process. And I certainly hope that is what happens to you as well. Taking new ideas, taking renewed thoughts, maybe looking at things a little bit differently and saying, yeah, let's go back. Let's go back to the courthouse. let's forget about all those political ads that are on TV all the time. Let's go back to the courthouse right now and let's go continue to serve, continue to do a better job, continue to bring innovation, continue to bring ideas. And for those of you who are leaving office and leaving us here in a few months, I say thank you. I say good luck. I say Godspeed. And I say don't be strangers, because you've served us all well. And we certainly need to continue to have your influence, your impact, and your involvement, whether it's as an association or whether it's within your courthouse and within your community in a different role. And I continue to encourage you to go back and to continue to serve. So thanks for what you do. Have a great time. Learn. And I'll be around until probably about noon. If you have any questions for me, or the rest of my staff will be here. Well, I only see Dan. Oh, there's Brenda and Janie. I guess they're not sitting next to Dan. I had to look behind Dan. And they'll be here as well throughout the next few days. Thank you.